Trinity is celebrating the holidays throughout finals. Find out where you can celebrate the season tonight on campus.
And Trinity Athletics earned a national ranking, how Trinity sports performed in the postseason, and how the athletes prepared.
I'll listen more right now on Newswave.
Audio Jungle.
Good afternoon, and welcome back to Newswave. Today is Friday, December 6th. I'm Luke McCauley.
And I'm Kayra Reese.
With Christmas just around the corner, the Trinity University community has all sorts of fun planned for everyone to enjoy tonight and tomorrow. This evening, there will be an alumni party from 5:30 to 7 p.m. in the Corbell Great Hall, featuring a variety of delicious food stations, decadent desserts, and seasonal drinks. Afterwards, the festivities continue with the 30th annual Christmas concert in Lori Auditorium, performed by a combination of Trinity choirs, symphony orchestra, symphonic wind ensemble, and the handbell ensemble at 7:30 p.m. On Sunday, December 8th, come to the Parker Chapel at 6 o'clock p.m. for Vespers, an annual Christmas service to continue the candle-lit tradition of carols and songs. Last but certainly not least, the famous tradition of Christmas on Oakmont that dates back to the 1970s will take place immediately after the concert. The Christmas concert and Vespers will also be live streamed on the Tiger Network. But for those who are able to attend, we are here at Newswave hope to see you there.
The National Association of College Directors of Athletics named Trinity University as the number 22 Division III athletics program in the country in their 2023 to 2024 Learfield Directors' Cup standings. This marks the 17th time that Trinity has ranked in the top 25 nationally. Rankings are based on how the program does in the postseason. 8 of Trinity's teams finish in the top 15 nationally, including 3 teams in the top 10 of their respective sports. The Stellar program ranking caps off a stellar year for Trinity Athletics. Highlights from the year include Trinity winning our 13th consecutive SCAC President's Trophy, 17 of Trinity's 18 athletic teams making the NCAA postseason, and all 18 Trinity sports teams having win percentages over 500. While Tiger athletes have demonstrated excellence on the field, they also have demonstrated excellence off the field as well, with an impressive 30 Trinity athletes who made All-American and 52 Trinity athletes received National Academic Awards. Newswave reporter Max Craig has more on the men's soccer team and their preparation for the postseason. Take a look.
The NCAA tournament is a very important event for colleges in general. Here at Trinity University, with it being a small school, majority of the students are a part of campus sports. With it being in the fall, the sports that are going on right now are football, soccer, volleyball, and on Friday, November 15th, I interviewed senior soccer player Mark to get an idea of what his teams and his overall mindset going into the NCAA tournament and figure out what their approach was to each game. What does it mean for them in the school? What he and the other players think about the coaches themselves. What is your and your team's mindset going into this tournament?
I think from the team's point of view, we're just trying to take things one game at a time. You know, we know the quality we have and the depth we have in the squad, but we're not trying to get too far ahead of ourselves. We have a very tough game coming up this evening, and we're not trying to think past that. We're just trying to focus on taking it game by game. Me personally, I'm just trying to take it all in and enjoy it. You know, I've never played in the national tournament before, so you know it was kind of a big goal of mine coming into this year. So again, this is my last season too, so I'm just trying to enjoy every minute of it and make sure I can give the best as what I can to the team.
So you're basically saying you're not overlooking any team that you're going to face?
Yeah, exactly. You know, anything can happen in a tournament of football. You know, whatever's gone on before this point doesn't really matter. We're not taking anybody for granted. You know, we always kind of seen the season in kind of 3 different sections, so pre-season, regular season and post-season, and nothing really matters from before now, so anything can happen on the night and anybody can beat anybody at this stage.
You technically already answered this, but what makes y'all confident?
I think what makes us confident is most of all our togetherness and our work rate. We see ourselves as a family, and we'll do whatever we can for each other on the field. We know we can trust each other. That's one thing we've worked on all year. Being able to be ready every game, every practice, because we know our teammates are relying on each other. I think the quality we have in the locker room, both offensively, defensively, it's hard for some teams to live with. We know how much of a quality team we have and how much effort we're going to put in every game. So that's what makes us confident.
Does your team only care about getting the win, or is it more than that?
I think first and foremost, the win is what's most important. At this stage of the season, it's not about being perfect or playing the best type of soccer. It's about getting the win and getting over the line. But I think for us as a team, it probably is a bit more than that. On one hand, we want to keep playing for as long as we can for myself including our senior class, and I've only been here 1 year, but there's guys who've been here 4, 5, and 6 years, so we want to keep giving them another game, another week of practice. And also, I think for us, we kind of want to reward the work of our coaches this year too. We have an amazing coaching staff that have dedicated a lot of time to practice and games and preparing us as well as possible. So I think beyond just getting the win, we want to kind of reward them and reward everybody really for their hard work this year.
Thank you for watching this video. I know it was quite short, but I didn't have a lot of time to interview him because he had to get ready for his game later that night. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. Until next time.
On November 7th, the lower bell of Murchison Tower at Trinity University stopped ringing, silencing the iconic hourly chimes for nearly a day. Students had noticed the absence of the beloved chimes and promptly alerted faculty and staff who coordinated repairs. Trinity's chaplain, Alex Cerna-Wallander, reassured the community that such issues are not uncommon, as bell mechanisms are 60 years old and occasionally require maintenance. The bells are now back in operation, resuming their regular 15-minute tolls.
Still ahead, more on-campus and local sports teams.
And where you can celebrate the holidays right here in San Antonio.
Newswave will be right back in 60 seconds.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. If you could see you through my eyes instead of your ego, I believe you'd be surprised to see that you've been blind. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Welcome back to Newswave. If you're looking to get into the holiday spirit while you're still on campus, San Antonio has lots of fun events to offer. There's a holiday boat caroling from December 4th to the 23rd, where groups of up to 12 can rent a riverboat and go caroling. There are also holiday events going on at SeaWorld and Six Flags, with both featuring lots of parades, lights, and festive food. The Natural Bridge Caverns are also hosting a holiday celebration, with different festivities happening above and underground. Even though it's still above freezing in Texas, there's an ice skating rink open at Travis Park, which is a less than 10-minute drive from campus. There are also plenty of shopping options, lights, and even Santa Claus photo ops available all throughout the city. Before final start, be sure to check out some of the festivities our city has to offer.
Now, a closer look at how Trinity performed in the postseason. Newswave's sports editor Caleb Reed. Take it away, Caleb.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the final sports segment of the year. My name is Caleb Reed, and let's get started. Trinity Fall sports have now officially come to an end, and what a fall it was. The Tigers were dominant in all sports all season long, with all 4 teams, football, volleyball, and both men's and women's soccer, making the playoffs. Additionally, cross-country sent runners into the postseason, making it a clean sweep for all the fall sports. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, and Trinity football was the first one to have their season ended. The Tigers earned a surprising playoff bid after being on the outside looking in for much of the season after 2 losses earlier on in the year. And Trinity's long shot bid wasn't secure until the final week of play, whenever everything went the Tigers' way to secure their 4th consecutive playoff appearance. Because Texas Lutheran University over in Seguin did not put in a bid to host, Trinity earned the right to play at home, taking on the University of Mary Hardin Baylor before Thanksgiving. This was the 4th time in 4 years that the Tigers and Crusaders have faced off, and the 3rd time in that span that this was a playoff matchup. Trinity started slow, but their defense held firm, keeping the game close until the very end. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough as Trinity ended up falling 22 to 29 to close out their year. Trinity volleyball also fell in the playoffs, making it all the way to the Sweet 16 for the 4th consecutive season. The Tigers won the SCAC championship in their final run at the tournament and went down to Georgia to play their first 3 matches. They won their first match against Southern Virginia in a 3-set sweep and then defeated future SAA conference opponent Berry College 3-1, but it was the host Emory Eagles that would provide problems. Trinity ultimately fell 1-3 in the regional final, marking the end of an impressive 26-7 season. Men's soccer also had a dominant year in 2024, rolling through the season without losing a single game with a near-perfect 17-0-3 record. The Tigers rolled into the postseason on a high and took care of business at home, earning 2 crucial wins during the first and second rounds. Trinity won 3-0 in both matches, defeating Belhaven in the first round before then beating Bowdoin College the next day. Unfortunately, they couldn't carry this momentum into the Sweet 16 as they fell in the second half against Babson College with a 2-0 defeat. Women's soccer went the furthest of any of the Trinity teams this year, with the Tigers moving into the Elite 8 following their 5th consecutive conference title. The team's only blemish with a loss came earlier on in the season, but they ended up sweeping through conference play with a perfect 10-0-0 record. Trinity went on a California road trip to start their postseason activities, traveling to Claremont and facing 2 hometown schools in the process. They weren't phased, however, defeating Cal Lutheran 1-0 in the first round before then taking down Pomona Pitzer in penalties. A snowy scene in Scranton wasn't enough to dull the Tigers' bite in Pennsylvania, though, taking down the host University of Scranton with an overtime thriller from the corner. Unfortunately, during their Elite 8 match, the team finally ran out of gas, dropping their final match of the season 1-0 against William Smith. With fall sports now done, all eyes are going to turn to the winter and CalGuard Gym for the basketball season. Men's basketball has taken an interesting approach to their season, taking almost every single non-conference game on the road to open the year. Trinity hasn't played a home game yet all season, traveling to Colorado Springs, Houston, and California to open up their campaign. Despite the miles, Trinity finds themselves in a very good spot with a 4-1 record, their only loss coming against Claremont Mudscripts on Saturday. Once the new year rolls around, Trinity will be here at home with their first home game coming over Christmas break. The first home game after the dorms open on January 12th is actually going to be on the 12th against conference opponent Concordia, with the next opportunity coming on January 31st against Ozarks. Additionally, women's basketball has had a few road trips to open the year, but played their season opener at home to start the season. The Tigers are currently 3-2 to start the season, with both of their losses coming against Mary Hardin Baylor. Kylie Minter has been a standout star this season, earning both conference and regional recognition for her shooting throughout the start of the campaign. The Tigers will now open their conference schedule on the road on Tuesday against Shriner, with their next home appearance smack in the middle of finals with a game against Dallas Christian on the 14th. In addition to a post-Christmas pair of games, the Trinity women will be at home after the break at the same time as the men, with home games on the 12th and 31st of January. Meanwhile, in addition to Trinity sports, the NBA is in full swing with the NBA Cup concluding their group stage games earlier this week. The Dallas Mavericks finished second in their group to the Warriors, who who won their group in the West with the Rockets and Thunder picking up the remaining 2 spots from the Western Conference. The Mavs have a non-Cup game tomorrow against the Raptors before then facing the Thunder in the Cup quarterfinals on Tuesday. Unfortunately for San Antonio, they could not make it out of their group and have been eliminated following the group stage. The San Antonio squad lost their game against the Suns on Tuesday, but have a chance now to focus on regular season games. The Spurs play tonight against the Sacramento Kings at home in a game that, in a game that I will be having the opportunity to attend, with tip-off coming at 7 o'clock p.m. That is all for me. I hope that all of you have a wonderful break, and I cannot wait to see you all in the spring. Take care.
Former San Antonio Mayor Howard Peak, known for his role in creating our San Antonio Greenway Trail system, passed away at the age of 75 on November 30. Peak is a very well-respected member of the community throughout his entire life, even outside of his political career. Prior to his election in 1997, Peak worked as a city planner for San Antonio until 1984. He was on the city council from 1993 to 1997, and he also taught urban administration at Trinity University. During his time in office, Peak fought to solve issues involving water, education, and employment. He helped to usher in the city's first comprehensive water plan by protecting the Edwards Aquifer. After his time in office, Peak continued working to solve problems in the city as board member for the Brooks Development Authority and serving as a chair for San Antonio Water Authority Citizen Advisory Panel. Current Mayor Nierenberg said on X about the late mayor, quote, "I was privileged to call him a friend, an advisor, and someone whose mission continues to influence our work. Rest in peace, Mayor Peak," end quote.
Starting January 1st, 2025, most Texas drivers will no longer need annual vehicle safety inspections thanks to a law signed by Governor Greg Abbott in 2023. While commercial vehicles remain subject to inspections, personal responsibility will now dictate vehicle safety. However, the change won't save money, as a $7.50 inspection cost will be replaced by a fee of the same amount paid during vehicle registration. Newly registered vehicles will incur a $16.75 fee covering 2 years of registration. 17 counties will still require emissions tests, with vehicles subject to an onboard diagnostic test. Despite the shift, Texas drivers must maintain safe vehicles under this new system, balancing time saved against ongoing financial and environmental responsibilities.
Coming up, blizzards have struck the Northeast and how you can stay safe on your travels home over the holidays. Stick around, we'll be right back in 60 seconds.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing to keep us focused.
A habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mental health. Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Welcome back to Newswave. Arctic blasts in the northern U.S. have made traveling during this holiday season difficult. 9 million people in the U.S. are under winter alerts, with 3 million under warnings of lake effects snow showers, which happens when Arctic blasts meet with warm lake water. The states affected include New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Minnesota, and West Virginia. In response, New York Governor Kathy Hochul declared a state of emergency on November 29th, deploying 100 National Guard troops and discouraging unnecessary travel. Since then, Interstate 90 has reopened and restrictions for buses and trucks have been lifted. The National Weather Station predicts the highest snow accumulation will be east of Lake Ontario, with up to 60 inches of lake effect snow. If you plan to travel in the affected states, please monitor the weather and be safe.
As cold temperatures strike the Northeast, Newswave's chief meteorologist Luke Morton has the scoop on whether we can expect colder weather here in San Antonio.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the final episode of Newswave for the fall semester. The time certainly did fly by, and I hope you all enjoyed the show this semester. This past week has been the week of hot chocolate weather. Dreary and cool conditions have prevailed with cloudy skies for most of the week. The rain chances look to stay in the forecast for the weekend, with a 60% chance on Saturday and a 50% chance on Sunday. If you're going to be participating in any holiday festivities this weekend, be sure to bring an umbrella. A jacket is also needed, with Saturday only getting into the mid-50s and Sunday getting into the 60s. So stay warm and dry, Tigers. The beginning of next week looks to be a completely different story, with mostly sunny skies on Monday with a high near 80. A cool front is likely to push in through Monday night into Tuesday, which will cool us off again, with Tuesday through Friday of next week seeing partly to mostly sunny skies and highs in the 60s and lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. A pretty nice winter week if you ask me. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for me for the semester. Best of luck to all of you on your final exams, and I hope you all have a wonderful and joyous holiday season and a happy new year. And I'll see you again in 2025.
The National Security Council has released some tips for keeping you and your family safe this holiday season. If you're driving back home for the winter break, be sure to prepare for heavy holiday traffic, prepare an emergency kit, and practice defensive driving. Christmas and New Year's Day are some of the most dangerous driving days of the year, so be sure to make a safe driving plan for those days. If you're planning to deck the dorm or decorate once you get back home, be sure to be careful when it comes to live Christmas trees, lights, and breakable ornaments, and unplug everything before going to bed or leaving the house. The National Fire Protection Association reports that candles cause 46% of fires during the month of December, so keep a close eye on candles and any flammable objects. The holidays are an exciting time of year, but be sure to keep safety in mind.
On Monday, President Joe Biden announced that he pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, despite the initially pledging to stay out of legal proceedings against the younger Biden. Hunter had pleaded guilty to charges of tax violations and was convicted on firearms-related charges. In September, he pleaded guilty to federal charges of failing to pay $1.4 million in taxes while spending lavishly on drugs, sex workers, and luxury items. Despite the charges, Biden had this to say about the case, stating, quote, "Here's the truth. I believe in the justice system, but as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected this process and it led to a miscarriage of justice. And once I made this decision this weekend, there was no sense in delaying it further." End quote. In August 2023, lawyers for Hunter said prosecutors had reneged on a plea deal that would have resolved the tax and firearm charges. Biden believed this would have been a fair and reasonable solution to his son's case.
To finish up, we've got headlines from around the globe. Newsy will be back after this short message.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A volcano on Iceland's Reykjanes Peninsula erupted Wednesday night, causing evacuations at the Blue Lagoon. The 1.8-mile fissure released a slow-moving lava, causing minimal danger. Sean Wilsey, a geology professor at the College of Southern Idaho, who's been conducting live-stream tours using drones above the lava flows on YouTube, said these eruptions are, quote, typical for these types of systems, according to ABC News. It is the volcano's 7th eruption this year, providing Iceland as a hotspot for volcanic activity. Quote, "The big question is this going to continue on for centuries?" said Wilsey, end quote. The eruption prompted evacuations at the Blue Lagoon, an iconic tourist destination, and the nearby town of Grindavik. Fortunately, there were no injuries or casualties.
All for this week, protests have raged in Georgia, Russia's southern neighbor. Night after night, thousands of protesters have gathered around the nation's parliament building in the nation's capital, Tbilisi. Dozens of people have been injured in the rallies, which began last. Throughout the week, riot police have resorted to using water cannons and tear gas to disperse the protesters who have been thrown fireworks and constructed barricades in the city center. The nightly protests began on Thursday night after the Georgian Dream Party announced that the nation would suspend discussions on joining the European Union for 4 years. Also, earlier this week, thousands gathered to protest in South Korea after the president declared martial law seemingly out of the blue. His drastic decision was announced in a late-night TV broadcast on Tuesday, and he warned of, quote, anti-state forces, and the threat for North Korea military issued a decree banning protests and any activity by parliament. But South Korean politicians immediately declared the decree, and the president's declaration for martial law was ruled invalid. The president has since withdrawn his declaration, but faces growing outcry for his resignation from around the country.
Newswave would like to take the time to recognize holidays and traditions celebrated around the world. Krampusnacht is a Christmas tradition celebrated on December 5th in Germany and some other parts in Europe, in which echoes Santa Claus' naughty and nice list. However, instead of getting coal in your stocking, Krampus, a demonic figure and the antithesis of St. Nicholas, appears to reward good children and take the bad children down to the underworld. Hanukkah, or the Festival of Lights, is a Jewish festival that lasts for 8 days, and celebrates the rededication of the Second Temple of Jerusalem. Santa Lucia, celebrated on December 13th, especially in Scandinavia, is a Christian holiday that celebrates Saint Lucy, a martyr representing the light shining through the darkness. The winter solstice is on December 21st is the shortest day and the longest night for half the world. Christmas on December 25th is another significant Christian holiday celebrating the birth of Jesus. Kwanzaa, a fairly recent holiday first celebrated in California in the 1960s, celebrates African American history and culture. And last but certainly not least, New Year's Eve is just around the corner on December 31st, marking the end of 2024 and the beginning of a new year, 2025.
That's all the time we have for today. Best luck wrapping up finals and presents, and safe travels home for the holidays.
Newswave will return in January 2025. Until then, I'm Kayra Reese.
And I'm Luke McCauley.